This podcast is produced by the Suncoast Professional Firefighters and Paramedics, IAFF, Local 2546. It's intended for informational purposes only. The information presented in this podcast should not be considered legal, financial, or medical advice. Additionally, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the views of the host or affiliated organizations such as the International Association of Firefighters, the Florida Professional Firefighters, or any fire department, government, or governmental agency. The content of this podcast is not intended to serve as an advertisement for or endorsement of any political candidate or political party. This podcast remains the property of Suncoast Professional Firefighters and Paramedics, IAFF Local 2546, and is produced for its exclusive use. Any use, reproduction, or rebroadcast of this podcast without the written authorization from Suncoast Professional Firefighters and Paramedics, IAFF Local 2546, is strictly prohibited. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, brother.
The Leatherhead Experience, 2546 Leatherhead Experience, episode cuatro.
Número cuatro, señor.
For G. Today, we've got, for the first time ever, and probably will be on there a little bit more, but and I know he's very excited to be here.
Stoked.
Our Sarasota County political liaison, Tyler Rodrique. Say something for the people.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Never done a podcast before, but I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah.
Do you know what to do with your hands?
Right now, I just got them folded.
Right here.
Folded first.
What I do with
What do I do with these?
Whatever. Yeah. So and then return visit since we're on C shift together. Secretary G. Rogazy is here today as well.
Hey, brothers and sisters.
And once again, for those who don't know me, I'm your local president and 7th DVP, Jason Brzezowski. I know I was at the hospital yesterday, SMH, on shift, and the Rescue 6 guys were there, and Joey wasn't there. And I was like, where the fuck is Joey?
Yeah.
And they said they had just watched the podcast, and they were like, hey, wait, the president rides the rescue? And I was like, shit, dude, I take my turn. Tell Joey he's a bitch. Tell him to quit avoiding rescue.
I've seen him on the rescue a couple
I
times.
know, me too. That's what actually I was more surprised he wasn't there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I opened it back thinking he was going to be there, and I was like, hey, who the hell are you?
Make him feel like shit on his one engine day for
I
the
know.
year.
Finally gets an engine day, right? He's an
That's what we do.
FTO, finally gets an engine day.
It's part of it.
And but Joey's not here today, but so we got a bunch of talk. We got a little bit of talk about today since we have our Sarasota County political guy with me, and G, who's been doing Sarasota County politics with us for a while. We're going to dive into that a little bit and just kind of explain people the processes that we go through. A little bit of how we make our endorsements. Maybe not so much where we're at on some of those endorsements yet, because we will have a whole ass show with all of our political guys here talking about that stuff. But I'm definitely going to go through some of those processes, how we come about it. I know there's been some questions in the past on, how we name who we're endorsing, et cetera.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna get into that a little bit. But first and foremost, I want to talk about some exciting news at 2546. So this week we had our general membership and executive board meeting, and we swore in the new members of Parish Fire District.
Officially.
They are officially
Yep.
part of Local 2546. So welcome, brothers and sisters. We had about 6 of you here. I didn't get it. It's a Monday in the afternoon, and a third of you are working.
Yeah. Well, that's still a third about their department right now, so
Yeah.
that's not showing, brother.
Great showing by those guys. Appreciative of having them here, getting to swear in a few of them personally. By the way, you're all now members. You all got sworn in, whether you're here or not. And then,
I already sent your stuff to payroll.
yeah. So when you see your check just a tad bit lighter, that's on us. But
Don't worry, we're gonna make it bigger.
Yep. And great. I'm very happy to see that Casey Shue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, congrats to Casey. He's they elected him district vice president as their first one.
You always get a first time, right?
Yeah,
There's only one first one.
There's one.
Legendary.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw their emblem out
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
hall. It looks pretty sweet. So
Yeah, we
we'll get that up there.
we have them, and then we're going to talk about DeSoto here in a second. But we have theirs ready to mount. We're going to probably wait until we get DeSoto's in here too.
Yeah.
You don't want to have Denny do it 3 times.
I know Denny Bickle, our 2546 facilities engineer,
Yeah.
has got some work ahead of him. But we want one shot, one kill. We don't want to have to go back up again, right?
Yeah.
So, but congratulations to Casey Shue. Very excited to have him as DVP for Parish. He's going to start developing his team. He's going to be working on his stewards,
Right.
probably next week or two.
Yep.
Jim Brantley and Jim Brantley, our in-house legal counsel. We've already started working on a framework for their first contract. So once Casey gets his team developed, we'll get everybody in here, start talking about that, have some informational meetings, and then we'll file for bargaining and get to work on their first contract, which is always exciting.
Yes, sir. Also, just not to sell the other, no one. Congratulate all the new members we've added since the last the February e-board meeting. So just for an update, I just finished sending everybody to payroll that came through and everything per the bylaws. We're going to be adding 80 more new members once all those payrolls come through to the IFF roles. So,
Yeah.
crazy.
I keep saying it.
so 140 since
Wow.
I did the second podcast. So
I keep saying it. We're probably one of the fastest growing locals in the state. And then Friday the 17th, just tomorrow, but I know this will probably come out in a couple days. DeSoto will be here. We'll be watching their vote come in Tallahassee.
Cool.
watch party.
Yeah, good time. We're going to be here getting ready to celebrate that. I have no doubt how that's going to go, but we're going to watch it and have a good time. And between DeSoto and Parish, that's 70 new members to Local 2546. 70 new members just in those two organizations, which are growing. I mean, Parish, you go up there, man, every time I go up there is a new building, right? A new development. They're going to be one of our fastest growing organizations in this organization. And I'm very excited having Casey's leadership, their admin, and us have had some preliminary good discussions on how to move forward. They've even posted on their website that they're very excited to be part of 2546. And they're probably going to be a couple applications for admin
Okay.
members
Nice.
in there.
All right.
Because I was asked about that this week. So looking forward to having them be fully part of the process like they are now and then getting DeSoto on. All good things, right? So very exciting. So today what we're going to talk about, brothers and sisters, a little bit and just touch on, start the process on politics and what we do locally and how we come to some of our decisions. I've had members in the past ask, hey, why or how did we endorse this candidate, etc. You two have been, G was kind of a political officer back before we had political officers. He was out there holding signs and doing shit all the time.
This is actually what's why Merv Kennel suckered me in. I'm just going to blame him again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was literally one day I was the only guy that showed up one day to hold a sign, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come be a steward?" And there you go. And that's how this happened. But
Yeah.
I've been putting signs, holding signs, just learned the process then, and we're going to talk about it some more here. But
Yeah.
it's definitely that's what buys us our wins. Is you got to do this politics stuff
Yeah.
and boots on the ground.
Doug Huffman, our most tenured DVP, I think, probably ever, right? And so back when Bradenton was getting their ass kicked and they organized because they were just, very adversarial, mayor and fire chief, etc. How he flipped that place is the politics. He put his neck out there, got a mayor elected, got a couple of city councilmen elected, got a fire chief out of there, and has flipped that, right? And the Bradenton guys saw that it's been ingrained in them since day one, and that's why they show up, right?
Oh yeah.
What Doug says about all this is politics are evil, but for us, it's a necessary evil, unfortunately. And part of that is, hey, listen, we're never going to get any politician to ever just agree to everything we ever want or anything. But what we do is we build those relationships through these processes. I mean, heck, some of the best relationships we did not endorse their first race, right? We endorsed their opponent, but they grew to understand our.
Well, that's what it is. They understood why we did it.
Yeah.
But they know that if once they're like we build that relationship, if they're good to us, we're going to be there.
Yeah.
Every time because we do that.
We
Take care of our friends.
talk about, just because we mentioned Barrington, we just had that. So 4 years ago, we backed an individual in a race, and I remember I was at the polls with one. It was a 3-person race for city council, and I was at the polls with Councilwoman, again at the time just candidate Lisa Gonzalez Moore. And she came up to me and the guys, and she actually came up to Jameson. Jameson was with me that day and says, "Hey, man, she has a question for you." And she came up to me and said, "Hey, how do I get you guys endorsement in the future? Because, you guys get out there, and you're everywhere. I see you guys everywhere." And I said, "Well, if you win, if you're a friend to us, you'll never have to ask for an endorsement." And she's like, "Okay, so," and she fucking won. Right. And she's been nothing but a friend to our firefighters in Barrington. So now she's up for re-election, and we stand by that, as in, you don't have to ask for an endorsement. You already have it. Right. And Doug and I were at one of her events last week, of her kickoff event.
Well, there was proof in the pudding there.
Yeah. And so, going back and how this is all developed, it starts with the OG godfather when it comes to politics in 2546 is really Merv Kennel. When he was business agent and then president of this local, he identified that and started that process, right? Getting guys out, doing all that stuff. And then molded to, Phil taking over when I was briefly interim secretary for this local. Phil identified me as somebody who really enjoyed politics, the building relationships part of all of it, and created the political officer position. That was the next step, right? The vision. So the transformation of this organization to that started with Merv, went into Phil, identifying a person like me. I started doing politics for this place, building relationships in 3 counties. I take over realizing, hey, man, we've grown to the point we got to find guys, right? And then we got guys like this dude over here who last cycle. I mean, this is the vibe that Tyler brings to this organization and his position. He literally had, at first we had our opponents, right?
Yeah.
Not really our opponents. We're never negative, right? But they, people get pissed off that firefighters are out there and they think we shouldn't be able, some of them think we shouldn't be able to exercise our First Amendment rights to organize and assemble as we choose fit. And we are off duty.
Yep.
We're unpaid, right? There's no paying of anything. Everybody's on their volunteering their own time. Their shirts they're wearing are paid for through our political action committee, right? So it's not paid for, but with union dues, right? Everything's on the up and up, and some people just can't grasp that reality that, hey, a public servant, public employee is exercising their rights to try to choose who they want to run their organizations, right? Hard for them to imagine.
Well, that's just you're talking about history there. Like we're letting, the labor movement hasn't died with us. We keep moving that forward, and you can just go back to after the Great Depression. That's when things really started going up labor-wise because they built those antitrust laws, and it wasn't just towards corporations. So that's where we are. Like we're still the fastest growing union in the country, I believe.
Yeah.
Just because we're organizing as they're developing, we have new communities, and forgive us for having over a 90% approval rating, no matter where you want to go.
Yeah. We had a group last year, and I won't give them away just because that's not what we do. But let's just say a very influential political group in town last year shared with us that they did an internal poll of their voters, and one of the questions was, when you see the firefighters have endorsed an individual, does that affect your vote in a positive manner? And over 90% of the respondents said yes.
That's a crazy statistic.
I know.
That's wild.
Yeah. But we also have a 90% approval rate with the general public. Right? You know, nothing against our brothers in blue. When people call us, they're calling for help, and we're there to help.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Our brothers in blue sometimes are there for a different reason, right? And
They didn't get called there sometimes.
Sometimes when they show up, you end up in handcuffs, right? A little different than us, right?
Right.
Usually you don't end up in handcuffs with us. Right?
Usually.
Unless you're trying to have a
Hopefully
little-
not.
Well, it's a little fun.
Yeah, well, that's
Are they furry?
yeah, that's on a different note, right? Yeah. But so Tyler, you know, last election cycle was out there, and at one point the opponents were, when he first got out there, they were taking pictures of him and saying how they were going to get him fired and all that good stuff. And by the end of the day, after he bought him a couple smoothies and just did what Tyler does and throws the vibe at him,
Thanks.
they literally were like, well, I like you. I just don't like that you guys are out here, right?
Yeah.
You know, kind of deal.
It definitely was less contentious after that, for sure. Yeah.
Good job, brother.
Yeah, so at that point, you know, I wasn't president of this local yet, but at that point, I was like, all right. I had kind of known that if I was going to take over this thing, that political spot could not be one person anymore. Had to be three, right? Because our local represents firefighters in 3 different counties.
4 now. Well,
No, now 4.
counting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow, hopefully.
And
First show.
immediately in my mind, I was like, well, once I do that, Tyler's my dude, right? Because
Appreciate that.
He's all our
sure.
dude.
Thanks, boys.
You're a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. I mean, we're all dudes. I'm saying.
Yeah.
The whole team is great. I mean,
yeah.
Greg and Mikey, they're
Yeah, and
Awesome.
we're going to have all 3 of you on
Cool.
one show eventually, right? We have to figure out the shifts and everything else, but yeah, it's a team concept. So we evolved, right? We had Merv just getting firefighters out there to hold signs, to Phil creating a position, to now me saying, well, that position needs to be more, right? To service. I mean, you've been to a lot of these meetings with me. There's a lot of races going on, right?
It's a lot, yeah.
We're tracking.
I don't know how you did it by yourself.
Well,
For
yeah, lots of drugs and alcohol.
Just alcohol.
I wasn't talking about hard drugs.
Yeah.
It's mostly like, sleeping drugs and stuff, Ambience. So anyway, yeah, so they, it's, you guys are a team, and there's sometimes something in Manatee County, and a couple of you come up to that, and sometimes there's something down in Charlotte, and all of you come to that, and if there's, if you guys are off, you're all co-mingling. We have our own little text group.
Yeah.
Just getting it out there, because there's going to be a team effort this year. Sometimes we're going to have, as you know, event on this day here, and event on this day here. It's already starting to ramp up.
It's always on B shift for some reason. That's like they're planning it, man. They don't want me to vibe. I don't know.
No.
Well, at least right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you stepping up, and
I appreciate the opportunity.
you've been
Just trying to learn,
you've been an asset.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. So why do we do politics, right? So simply put this way, and I've heard the saying a bunch, and I remember when I first heard it, I was kind of like, okay, and it just makes more sense. It's for a seat at the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you're going to get everything you want in life, but it gets you at the table to at least have the discussion. And the saying is, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu,
That's for sure.
right? And you don't ever want to be on the fucking menu because then they start talking about how to eat you, right? This really just gets you in the arena and at the table.
And you don't even have to say how they eat you.
Yes.
I was like,
'Cause we've been there, right?
Can you go ask first? You know,
You know, we were firefighters during the 07, 08, 09, 10-ish years where we were just fending off layoffs, right?
Oh yeah, just not getting people, not losing people, and keeping your pay from coming down.
Yeah. You're looking at a guy who had his step plan frozen for 7 fucking years. Wow. 7 years. 0 raises for 7 years. In fact, yeah, I don't know how. I don't even know why I'm still at Longboat, but we've gotten it back, right?
Yeah.
But for the time there, we had a very adversarial commission that just thought we should be happy to have jobs, much less be able to take care of our families. I mean, at that time I was a lieutenant making like 54 because that was step 1 of a lieutenant plan, and we were frozen.
That's wild.
Yeah. And you think about some of the salaries we're making now.
That's
Try
start
being a
pay.
lieutenant for 5 years making 54.
Same pay. Cost of living's going up, but
Yeah. Everything else.
Thanks,
yeah.
guys. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing too. Is like, that was a missed bag in Sarasota just because we froze for 1 year, but the steps. But if you're a topped out guy, you didn't see a raise for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what guys like, oh well, hey man,
Down in Charco,
yeah,
they gave up money. They gave up 3% of their salary to avoid layoffs.
Wow.
Everybody there had to give up 3% of their salary to avoid layoffs. There was a bad time, but we were able to get through it most places unharmed. Right, guys still keeping their job because we had a seat at the table.
yeah,
We didn't like the answers we were getting at the table, but we still had a seat there. And so that's politics 101. Why? Because you just have to build these relationships. And I get it. I get questions from members. That reason. Why are we getting involved? Why are we putting our name out there? Why are we subjecting ourselves to this? What happens if our guy loses? All right, we've already worked on all that. Trust us, guys. Brothers and sisters, trust us. We have met with it. By the time this election cycle is over, we have met with everybody, their mom, their spouse, their cousins. We got relationships with all these people. We never do negative, right? We just say, hey, listen, this is who we support, and this is why we support them. We, listen, to run for office nowadays, it's fucking, oh, God, man, I don't even know why anybody does it, to be honest with you.
yeah.
And so to step up and run for office, even if we don't endorse you, we still congratulate you for doing so, respect you for doing so. Definitely don't say anything bad about you. Just say, hey, listen, this is the direction we've gone. And if you beat our person and you become a friend, then we never have to have this discussion again because you always have our endorsement, right? So, that's part of our process.
Yeah, the part that sucks is when we have 2 friends happen to have to run for the same office sometimes. And that's
And a lot of times we stay out of those.
oh
Right?
yeah,
Yeah. So a few years ago, Florida was doing redistricting because it was census year, right?
Right.
So they have to redistrict all their House and Senate seats, and
oh, you mean according to the law.
yeah, yes, yeah,
Not magic.
yeah. And so the redistricting of that process put a couple of our friends in the same district for about a month.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And I was in the truck with Murph. We were actually driving back from Tallahassee on one of our trips up there together, and we got a call from both those people asking, "Hey," because the maps came out like that week. Hey, I'm running again. If I'm in the same district as Rep X, how do you guys make your decision? And our answer to them was, we don't get between friends, right? You guys work it out. We'll stay out of it. right? And because you got to be in a primary against each other, we'll stay out of it. And
Support you in the general.
and then whoever wins, we'll be there the day after, right? We just never, we don't pick between friends. That's just never been our deal. But anyway, so I'll start talking about some of those processes. So just for everybody who doesn't, again, members probably hearing a lot of this for the first time. So the IAFF, our international, for the most part, stays out of anything local, local and state, right? They rely on the state organization to make statewide endorsements. They rely on the local to make local endorsements. The only real endorsements they make are kind of at the national level in the president spot. A couple of years ago, we stayed out of it. The international stayed out of it between President Trump and President Biden. A few years back, we had a different IFF president. It was Shapeberger at the time. Now we have Edzo. Shapeberger decided to back Biden. I got some phone calls from that one.
Sure, yeah.
Me and Phil. And some people, with the misconception of this. First of all, let me tell you guys something right now, brothers and sisters. Not a cent of your union dues pays for anything political. It's not allowed to, right? Not allowed to. At the international level, the only money they give is through FirePack, which please, if you ever go on IFF.org and you see FirePack, sign up.
$25.
You can sign up for as little as $25. I do the max, right? And that's when you guys see me at these little events with my little fancy pins.
It's a dope pin.
That's what you get for $1,000.
It's expensive.
You get the Magnum pin.
Yeah, but I believe in it, right? Because I believe in
Yes.
finding candidates that are pro firefighter, especially at the national level, and we saw what happened with that, with the passage of our 2 legislative priorities this past year. So that's what that works for. However, unless you give to FirePack, like I do, and G does, and Tyler's about to.
I did it.
Okay.
Yeah, I finally did it. Took me too long, but
Yeah. You can even sign up for monthly payments, right? That's what I do. I just say, okay,
convenient.
pay, whatever it is, divided by 12, and that's what I do. Unless you give the fire pack, not one of your dollars goes towards
Presidential race. Yep.
presidential race. Not one. Right? Fire pack money's the only thing can go there. We have a congressional race coming up here in the Sarasota, Manatee, Hillsborough area because Congressman Buchanan retired.
Yep.
And
Long time friend.
I have to request money from FirePack for that race because we can't even give our own PAC money to it because we're just a state and local PAC. So if I want to give money to any federal race, it has to come from FirePack, not from union dues, from FirePack. So unless you give to FirePack, not a dollar of your money is going towards that.
Correct.
All right. So let's make that clear because sometimes, especially during when that race was going down, and you listen, there was a lot of feelings about that race on both sides, and I had members saying they wanted to pull out of the union because they don't want their union dues paying for Biden, and it's like, well, first of all, good news is
they don't.
It doesn't.
They don't.
yeah,
But that's the point too of understanding that's the stance that we have. It goes all through the union is we back those who've backed us, and Joe Biden had been at the time the one that always backed our issues through all the positions he's held.
Yeah, whether you agreed with any of his other policies, right? So I'll say that now. At all 3 levels, national, state, and here at the local, we are a 1-lane organization. Firefighters.
Exactly. Right. We don't care your
Firefighters.
affiliation.
It's easy. Yeah.
Firefighters. That's it. What have you done for firefighters? Right. We don't get into religions. We don't get into Second Amendment stuff. We don't get into now. I will tell every one of my members when they say, "Hey, why do we back this guy? You know, he's anti this." Cool, man. If that's your thing, then don't vote for him. I don't. You know. However, if you have no dog in the fight, and you're just asking us based on our
It's going to affect you at home.
evaluation on pro firefighter, pro union stuff, this is our guy, right? This is our girl. And when you go to the ballot box, punch that one. Again, if you have a hang up about the candidate that's been endorsed, and you're in no way obligated to vote for him.
Yeah.
However, we're making our decisions based on one lane and one lane only, right? And so that's it. And so I have locally, it's like, well, this guy is pro development, or this guy's this, or cool, man. Not my lane.
Exactly.
Not my lane. We endorse that guy because every time I come to him and asked him to support us in contract or anything going on locally, or I just call in. I mean, there's some people, some elected officials just help my firefighters out. You know, call up I'm going to use an example. I had a member call up. They were having an issue with the permitting of a new home that they built on their father's property, and they're running in all kinds of roadblocks with the planning and zoning. And he's like, "Hey, man, I know you know some people. Can you help me out?" And I called the commissioner. Commissioner put me in touch with somebody. I talked to somebody about that problem, and the problem got fixed. Right? That's it. Right? You just help us out when we call. That's the only thing I ever say to anybody who's ever gotten our endorsement is, if I call you, please answer. And then you could tell me, no, I don't give a shit, right? You can give me a reason, but at least answer and let me tell you what my problem is and see if we can work it out. So
Yeah, fair shake.
yeah. And then at the state level, Florida Professional Firefighters makes the statewide endorsements. That's who we all trust to make those statewide endorsements. I'm your 7th DVP, so I sit on that board. We actually have 2 members, 2546 members on the board, as you guys know, me and Rocco. Right?
Shout out Rocco.
Yeah.
Rock.
So we sit on that board. We interview most of the candidates running for statewide office. And then because we're a bottom-up organization, we, as the executive board, make a recommendation, and you guys will be a part of that since you both will be at convention this year. We make a recommendation to the delegates at convention to say, this is that we interviewed all these candidates. This is a recommendation of your executive board. However, the delegates at convention could say, we agree with you guys, or no, fuck you. We want to endorse this person instead. And that's how we work, right? So that gets worked out at convention. So we do all the interviews. We come back. We ask all the questions because we know if we make a recommendation to endorse, some people are going to ask, well, why do we do this? Where's he or she stand on this? And we got to have answers for our affiliates and say, okay, they stand on these rights, on this. You know, our main concerns always are collective bargaining rights in the state of Florida, at least. Maintaining our collective bargaining rights as guaranteed in our state constitution. The defined benefit pensions that we enjoy, right? Maintaining those.
Absolutely.
And then just making sure that we keep the rights we have in order to be in a union and organized, right? And I think we've done a pretty good job of that. And currently at the state level, we've met with a couple of the governor candidates so far. We just started that process. So we met with a couple of candidates for governor. We met with Senator Moody. We, of course, because U.S. Senate is a statewide race, that the FPF makes that endorsement as well. And then the IFF just respects our endorsement on that. The one statewide endorsement we have made is CFO. Our current CFO, Blaise Ngolia, can't say enough about him, and that's why that was easy. When he was in the House, helped with the PTSD bill first, then helped with the cancer bill, right? Since he's been in the Senate, helped navigate a few issues we've had up there with PERC and other things that have been going on. Has been a big supporter of Arcola Bush for FRS. And so when he got the CFO job, it was like, well, that's easy, right? The dude's been a friend for a decade.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, not a fucking problem, right? So he's the one statewide endorsement we've made. The other ones we'll be talking about in Jacksonville in June.
He doesn't spell Blaze like Blaze, right?
It's B. So he
Just saying, it sounds very appropriate for a state fire marshal.
he says that, right? So that is actually funny because I was at an event with him a few weeks back here in Manatee County. He had some of his grant checks that come through his office for different stuff. DeSoto County got $1 million actually to go towards their new training center. Hardy County got a new brush truck. Longboat, East Manatee, and Parish all got grants for decon materials, either extractors or other things. And he says that it's a weird joke that the state fire marshal's name is Blaze. Now it is spelled Blaise, but and I will say this. The CFO has, if you ever go to an event with a CFO and you show up with cannolis, you've already made his wonderful list.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a fan of those. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, we had a trip. He was down in Charlotte County, and so there's a very good place down in Charlotte County that has cannolis, and we were having a lunch with him, and then we had followed him to another event. But I made sure I swung in there to get him and his wife some cannolis because that's like his soft spot, right? Loves him some cannolis. He's an Italian boy. Loves him some cannolis. So if you ever to go to something with him and you bring him some cannolis, he'll make sure you sit next to him.
Okay.
That's speaking from experience.
Okay. I'll bring the guy that we call Cannoli.
It worked wonders. Definitely worked wonders.
So you know, and then when we get down to our local, how do we make our decisions? Yeah, I've really, since I've been, this will now be like my fourth cycle in politics. You know, I was 3 cycles as a political officer, and now this one as president. I've really tried to dumb it down, like firefighters, right? We try to make it as fucking simple as possible, right? You know, hey, turn left, turn right. You know, if they're an incumbent, if we have an incumbent in a seat, and they're running for re-election, and they are a known friend, proven friend, they have our endorsement. That's step one, right? Incumbent, known friend, you got our endorsement. Are we going to meet with everybody? Absolutely. We're going to meet with everybody. We're going to explain to them that, right? Because there's some great candidates out there who are like, man, I'm pro firefighter. I'm pro public safety. Why don't I get a fair shake? Well, listen, we have a standard stance. We back our friends, right? We back each other. We're a tight knit group. We're brothers and sisters. We back our known friends. So if there's an incumbent running for office, again, re-election or a new office, then like we say, if you're a friend, you never have to ask for our endorsement. The only time you may be, if you're a known friend running for a new office, is if you're running against another friend. Right? Then we'll say, oh fuck, you guys are both friends. We'll have to sit this one out and let you guys work that out between each other. No friends, again, nothing but firefighter issues, or helping us out with things. That's it, right? Now, open race. No known friends. Well, then me and my political guys and the DVP of that area, and probably G and a few others that we bring in a whole team. If it's a statewide race, I always like to have Rocco here because, he's the one in Tallahassee all the time.
Right.
I want him here, and I want him to build a relationship with these people up front, because he's the one who's gonna have to cultivate that a little bit up there. I cultivate it back home.
Mm-hmm.
He calls them up there. So, but open race. We're bringing all the parties. We're bringing all the candidates. We have our interviews, and we make a best guess, right? Based on some things. Sometimes that guess is, they all sound great. I'll use the last election cycle for House District 72, which is up in Manatee County, but which is now Bill Connerly, right? We had 4 candidates for office there. Connerly, Richard Green, Alyssa Gay, Rich Tatum, all just good freaking people. And they all came in here, and we actually invited East Manatee to join with us because
We represented them too.
representing them too, right? So we bring our brothers in here too for part of the process. And we all interviewed them, and we literally left that saying, dude, if we pick somebody, we're just splitting hairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we call all of them and say, hey, we're going to stay out of this. There's a primary, four-way primary. There was a general election because there was one Dem, too, also nice person. And we're just like, we're going to stay out of this and let y'all figure that out. And Connerly won the primary. We endorsed him right after that, and then he won the general, right? And so sometimes we say, we're not going to make enemies just to make enemies, right? We're going to choose to stay out. And in that case, all 4 of them are good people. And had any of them won, we would have a friend.
Mm-hmm. So I'll say,
Yeah.
That's the time when that questionnaire that we put together based on that is where we make that endorsement. So if we didn't have like you said, no friend in there running, it's all an open race. Based on that, we make our best decisions. And again, it's all public safety, firefighter,
Yep.
labor stuff. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, we bring them in.
Yeah.
And the first question I asked us, like I talked about a couple of episodes ago, was, why the fuck are you running? Yeah.
Yes.
Why the fuck are you doing this to yourself, right? So then they usually laugh and move on with it, right?
Right.
And then we start asking, okay, tell us what you know about if you're running for Sarasota County Commission. Tell us what you know about the Sarasota County Fire Department, right? See if they care enough to have done their homework on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you know about the budget? What do you know about the personnel? Do you know? And then if they don't know, they'll ask questions, and that's when that relationship starts. That's where the education starts. That's where the relationship starts. This is how we run things. This is how we do things. A lot of times they'll come in and say, I'll tell you right now, I don't know. Please educate me. Perfect, right? And then we kind of feed off of that. Okay, well, and like in Sarasota's case, last cycle, we're looking to at least get 3 people personnel on every engine. And this is why we want to do that. Are you in support of that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Can you support that? Because it's going to cost dollars, right? More people cost dollars, right? We want to hear their answer to that stuff, right? We start making decisions based on that kind of stuff. And each department has their own needs and own as you know, because you've been starting to sit in not just county stuff, Venice, Northport, all the stuff that goes on in Sarasota County, right? You've been in Manatee County stuff, right? Charlotte County stuff. Those are, again, we stay in our lane, right? If there's discussions about development, it's simply to help them understand that with growth comes added responsibilities to our personnel,
Yeah,
our car volumes. Where do you stand on building more stations, more personnel? Because For every 8 to 10,000 homes that are like, we don't get into those decisions, but if 8 or 10,000 homes times 3 people per home are coming into 17's area where you're working,
Yeah.
how are we going to address that?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need another rescue? Do we need another station?
Yes.
Yes.
Please, another rescue. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think he's more worried about how many nursing homes are going to build.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too, right? I mean, honestly, that's an
Yeah.
honest question.
It's
Yeah, that's true. And
You're throwing an
it's-
apartment complex, apartment complex.
God's
or an
waiting room
ALF.
down here.
Yeah, or an ALF that's going to hold, 300 people, right? That's at least 3 calls a shift.
right.
Yep.
And the traffic over there is just,
Yeah, infrastructure that goes with it, right?
You have an urgent care over in your zone too, don't you?
yeah, we count that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go there quite often.
Been there before.
And a standalone ER now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, on university, there's an SMH. It's phenomenal. So nice.
Yeah.
It's a great option.
I'm going to pull the, well, I didn't have that back in my day when I was float up
no,
there.
it made a huge difference for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean, one thing you guys got at 17 is unlimited eats, because I'm jealous as shit about that.
yeah, we've got some good options out there. We've got a wheel at the station for dinner. We just spin it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And wherever it lands, that's where we're going.
That's
So,
awesome.
It doesn't say anywhere that they were going to cook.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you straight up, if I've worked at the UTC, I would never cook either.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff there.
when we had the truck, we did. And
Yeah.
then just protest when the truck left. We're like, no, we're done. We're done with that.
Yeah. Yeah, we cook at Longboat because the only restaurant we really have is Publix. And we have a few other little ones there, and I'm also not buying $40 steaks, so
Right.
so that's a whole other animal. But that's we have our questionnaires. We sit down with them, and so some of the stuff we got going in Sarasota County. Since Tyler's here, we're going to be talking mostly about Sarasota County today. And again, we're not going to get too deep into endorsements or why we made them, if we've made them, et cetera. We will have a couple episodes about that as we get, because as you know, we haven't met with a lot of people yet, right? And it's ever evolving.
I'm learning that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and I and Greg and Mike in our little text group every day are sending each other, news reports or Florida politics or something that says, oh, so and so jumped in this race and so raised this much money this quarter and so did this, right? We're constantly watching and navigating that, and we take that into consideration too, because I mean, here, let's be honest. Unfortunately, in America right now, money does win shit. And so we even look at that. We create a book on each candidate before they sit down and interview with us. Hey, where are they at on fundraising? Who's giving them money, right? Because people are watching that shit too.
Yeah.
If they're getting their money from all developers, problematic for them, right?
Yeah.
They're getting grassroots money, probably a little better, right? Not that we get into that stuff, but we got to make educated decisions. And so we get into that, and we make these books on these people, and hey, listen, here's the deal. If we're sitting with 2 candidates and they're both giving us the same answers, but one has $300,000 in the bank and one has $6,000 in the bank, yeah, problems, right? As much as we may or may not like you,
Yeah.
that's
That's
a problem.
yeah.
So money in politics today, that's just the way it works. So the races in Sarasota County are still evolving, but especially since in Congress, at least the U.S. Congress had we Local 2546, as you both know, we're over top of 2 congressional seats because of our location, right? District 16 and District 17. Congressional districts. So, Congressional District 17 is Greg Stubbe. He's running for re-election. Big time friend of ours. Already has our endorsement. Doesn't have to ask for it again. In fact, really hooked us the fuck up.
Yeah.
In D.C.
It was pretty dope.
Yeah. So we went to D.C. this year for our annual trip to go and see Congress and do all that stuff. And Congressman Stubbe's office absolutely hooked us up with some prime viewings of places I've never been in
Yeah.
D.C.
His aides were great.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
And he's always been awesome to us and has used us. right? So we're not violating anything in the HIPAA because he was all in the news.
Yeah.
He fell off a damn tree, right? And our guys, our Sarasota brothers and sisters, do what they do best and did an excellent job treating him and getting him taken care of. And he is so very appreciative of that crew that was there. It reminds me every time I see him how much he's appreciative of it. To which I remind him he's a U.S. congressman and he shouldn't be up chopping his own fucking trees down.
Yeah. But that's cool that he does. You know?
I mean, that's who Greg is,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so he has our endorsement already, right? Congressional seat 16 was Vern Buchanan. Now we haven't made any official endorsements yet. Stay tuned. We're working through that process.
And big shoes to fill there.
Absolutely. And we have some people running. Again, to run for office takes a lot. We will never speak negative about anybody, but we have some people running, and we have some people in mind. And we'll be having our processes soon, and then when we make an endorsement in that, we'll let you guys know. But that's Congress, right? And then we start getting down into state level. In Sarasota County, the way the districts are drawn up, they actually have 3 districts, House districts, state districts. District 73, 74, and then 75 is kind of a West Charlotte, very southern Venice area. Your boy.
Shout out. Danny Nix.
Yes. We'll talk about Danny. We'll probably have Danny on the show one time.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We get Danny on the show, and people understand why we love us some Danny Nix.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. So
He's great.
when they finally get done all the shit they're doing with budget and special sessions and all that stuff, I'll be reaching out to all of them and see if and when they want to get on here. And I'm sure Danny would absolutely love to hang out with
sick.
us for an hour or two.
That'd be great.
Just talking about Danny stuff. But so and we've made endorsements in all 3. So Florida House District 73, Fiona McFarland, just been a huge support of us her whole time in state office. I'm going to share a funny story that I've shared with her. I've shared with you guys. She was a freshman, brand new, in the House. And that's when our Florida firefighter Bill of Rights was up that year. Like we were making changes to that. We had some bad actors, chiefs throughout the state that were trying to use the informal, formal process to kind of skirt the firefighter Bill of Rights. And we said, fuck it, we're going to change it to where there's no more informal, formal process. It's just one process. Sometimes chiefs just can't be trusted, right? Not all of them. We had some good ones, right? And then honestly, it wasn't happening here, but was happening in other places. And so Fiona, when she was running, it was her first time running. So I just had her in my phone as Fiona, right? Excuse me. So she's up there, her first session. She's a freshman. Firefighter Bill of Rights. Bill is in her first committee, right? And I get up early in the morning, and I'm not hiding anything from my wife. My phone's code to get into is my anniversary. Like my wife knows my shit, right? But I have my phone sitting there, and I'm in the shower, and it's going ding, ding, ding at like fucking 6:45, 7 in the morning. So my wife's like, "Who the fuck is texting him?" Whatever. So she looks at my phone, and it says Fiona, right? And I'm in the shower. All I hear is, "Who the fuck is Fiona?" Right?
You should tell me that story.
Yeah. I'm like, Fiona, because I'm in my mind. I'm like, fuck, I don't know that many Fiona. And I was like, you mean Fiona McFarland? And so then I look, and it was right. And it was her saying, "Hey, my committee meeting's at 9:30 today to go over firefighter Bill of Rights. I want your talking points so I can help it get through committee." So I show my wife the text and say, "Hey, listen, this is okay, whatever. So now
She's like-
now she's Representative McFarland in my fucking phone. But
Yeah.
you know,
Bro, we would have had a service for you there.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah. You're not both, yeah.
She doesn't mess around.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife don't fuck around,
No.
dude. Like that's how you get cut. So anyway, yeah, so I shared that with her. And I remember when I was up there a couple of years ago, I shared it with the group, and everybody started laughing about that. But
She's great too.
since you know, every time anything pops up, she calls me and says, "Hey, you know, what do you got? Where you guys at on this?" Even if it has nothing to do with us, but something that might affect us. She's been great about that. So been a huge friend. She's running for what will be her last term. Right? She's been in there 6 years. This will be her last 2. So she has our support, absolutely. And then House District 74, Nick Pachota, former City of Venice mayor. Well, current mayor, about to be former. I talked about it a few episodes back when we were in City of Venice negotiations last year. Him and Rachel Frank, city councilwoman for Venice, sat with our firefighters.
Yep.
And it really fucking sets the tone for the city negotiation team when they can't say or do some of the dumb shit they were doing in the past.
Yeah.
When the mayor and the city councilwoman are sitting there because they're watching, learning, and listening.
I think that was awesome because they do the shenanigans they try to pull.
Yeah.
It's a game changer for sure.
Yeah. And so he said he was running for House. You're our boy. Don't worry about it. We got you.
Yeah, I love that guy too.
Yeah.
He's great.
Good dude. And also knows our job, right?
Yeah.
Was in the EMS field for a long time.
Yeah.
And emergency operations for a long time.
SWAT medic too, I believe.
Yeah. So knows our job, knows what we do. That's an obvious pick, right? And then our friend Danny next in 75, right? We're not going to even get, we can't even share the stories we have with Danny.
My boy.
But just to say, if you're a firefighter and you come hang out with us for political season and you end up with Danny next, you're going to love you some Danny next from now until ever.
Yeah, you're welcome in advance. Really. You're welcome. You're welcome. Just do it. Just come out. You'll have a good time.
Yeah. We love us some Danny next. He loves us. He loves some firefighters. I remember when House Bill 929 came up 2 years ago, again, him being a freshman, and it got announced, it hit the floor, or it hit the committees, and it was getting kind of bogged down a little bit because the Florida Fire Chiefs were trying to pull some shenanigans. Florida Fire Chiefs Association, not our local chiefs, but the state organization. And I called him up, and I said, "Hey, I need some co-sponsors on a bill of ours." And all he said was, "What's the bill number?" I said, 929. He said, "Done." Clark, get in here. 929. That's his age, right?
Yeah.
Clark, get in here. 929. Just get the paperwork set. And he's like, "We good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's like, "Cool." Hangs the phone up on me. And was done. And within like 30 minutes, his name was up as a co-sponsor. Like, just give me the number.
Those
It's done.
relationships that you built, like,
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, huge friend of ours. Florida Senate side, another big friend of ours, who's terming out in the House, now running for Senate, James Buchanan. His family and our organization go way back. I actually just had a meeting with James this week, and same deal. "Hey, man, I need to talk about something." His answer literally to me in my text was, "For you, anything." Right? So, met for breakfast, sat down for about an hour and a half, went over what we had to go with stuff going on the state level. And he's like, "Absolutely, I would support you. You guys know that." Like, him and his whole family. Even his brother, Matt, who runs Sarasota Ford.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you need a truck, go get hooked up, bro. Tell him you're a firefighter.
Yeah.
Hooks you up kind of deal. And the family just in our organization has been friends forever. So when he said he was running for Senate, perfect. Got your back, bro. And we're going to get him elected to Senate because we need a senator like him in there. So
it's good to see him at Pachota's event.
Yeah, well,
That's
and
good.
him and Nick went to high school,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I went to high school with Matt. Mooney. What?
Yeah. The Cardinals, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are doing something in football.
Yeah. They're doing pretty decent, huh?
Yeah.
Getting
That's
some
amazing.
good recruits out of there.
And then another, and then in Sarasota County, there's a couple races open this year. District 2, which is Commissioner Smith, and District 4, Commissioner Nunder. You know, we'll be making sure everybody understands where we stand on those and here in the future. And Sarasota Charter Review Board, we actually have made an endorsement in, and people may ask, why the hell are you doing that? First of all, Charter Review Board does a lot of things. Like your pension is actually in the charter, right? Stuff like that's in the charter. And so we have a brother, IAFF brother, Chip Adams, or Arthur Chip Adams, running for Charter Review Board, District 3. So he has our endorsement already. We much like Tony Better, we endorse our friends.
Yeah. Well, part of that, it's also for your brothers and sisters to understand is, you know, these people that run for these little positions like that, where you think it's not a big deal, well, that's how they build themselves up for future races. So
Yeah.
you get in on the door early when, you know, when they started in this stuff, and then they move up the chain, up the political spectrum. You're gonna be like, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it.
No, that is part of it. I mean, for a long time, I mean, even some of our current county commissioners started on the planning board or the charter review board.
Absolutely. Well, you said Stubby. He was a county commissioner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
He was a state rep.
Yep.
He was all, I mean,
We followed him through.
Yeah.
See where we're at now?
Yeah.
That's the point.
yeah. And I will go into some races we don't touch, and because people will ask me, and I keep saying, no, we don't touch these, and I'll tell them why. But it's a brother we've endorsed. Tom Tassane was another, well, he's a cop, but he's a brother of ours. The Blue Line group that we all love, like grown and loved it. Tassane and Chip and John Coughlin. Just a great group of guys, the Blue Line Club. They keep inviting me out for cigar night, and I keep having to remind them I can't fucking do that.
No
dude.
can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
Sorry,
hey,
bro.
man, you need to come out for one of our cigar nights. And I have to remind them, dude, I can't smoke a cigar.
Sounds good.
Well, first of all, I
can't-
don't even like cigars.
Oh, okay.
So that's another problem. But two, like, I can't do that, bro. I have a whole no tobacco clause, kind of deal. But they're a great bunch of guys. They've come here and hung out with us.
Yeah.
And so our organization and their organization are kind of tied to the hip. And Chip's actually, even though he's a firefighter, is part of that group. The cops let one,
One of us in.
yeah. They keep telling me they let me in too. I'm like, listen, first of all, I don't want to hang out with cops. Yeah. So, but anyway, City of Venice has some races this year. So the City of Venice actually, they used to do, it was weird. It was like it was 3-year terms, and every year like 2 of them were up. They've changed it to where it's now on election years, right? So,
Okay.
so every 2 years, so many are up, and then
Yeah, they staggered the seats. Yeah.
yeah. So now, because they did that and they had to fit all the terms into one, they actually have 5 seats of their 7 open right now. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 are the seats number. 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. Their DVP, me, we'll be having a lot of meetings here in the future, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
With potential city council members. But one we are absolutely behind and already endorsed is Rachel Frank. She's in C6. A lot of love for her. She was amazing even prior to negotiations. We were trying to get a contract opened up to address some needs, and she was in support of that. She's one of the only ones in support of that, right? And the other council members met with their DVP and I and said, hey, listen, we get it. We're ready to help you guys. However, we want to wait till your contract's ready, and I get it. But she spoke to our problem in Venice, pay problems, everything else. And Rachel Frank don't ever have to worry about our endorsement. Let's just put it that way. And so very glad she's running again because she has a very young family, just had a baby again. I guess her and her husband like each other because they have lots of kids now.
Yeah.
Have a whole brood. And her husband's actually a member, say the vice president now of the Republican Party of Sarasota. Great dude. And she's also a state committee woman for Republican Party, but huge friend of ours. So we've endorsed in that race. The other ones you have to stay tuned. Also, by the way, members, brothers and sisters, you're probably saying to yourself, how the fuck does he know all this stuff, right?
It's a lot.
Well, you don't need to know all the stuff I know. It's taken a lot of years to do that. But you just go to SarasotaVotes.gov, and you can look up there every candidate running, their campaign finance reports, everything you kind of want to know about them a little bit. And then if you got questions about it, give us a call. Right? We'll work you through there. Ron Turner, Supervisor Elections of Sarasota. I'm not saying this because I like Ron. Ron is literally the gold standard in Supervisor of Elections in the state. Like, he's been the chairman of their little group a few times. When it comes to elections in Florida, nobody does better in Sarasota County. Whether it's mail-in, early voting, their people. Like, I call for voter rolls and stuff for our media and stuff like that. They get me the information in like fucking a day.
Wow.
They're awesome. And so, gold standard. And then in the city of Northport, Pete Emmerich, who was a longtime friend of ours, is termed out at C4. So that seat is open. There's a couple candidates for that. And then in city of Northport, seat 5 is Phil Stokes' seat. He does have an opponent this year, so we'll be we're actually in the process of getting a new DVP in Northport. Yeah, Jay Sousa got moved up into admin.
Okay.
And so
He's great.
yeah, and we're gonna get a new DVP, and then we'll meet with the new DVP and go through that process with them and start working towards that. But we haven't made any formal endorsements in those races yet, but we will probably shortly. We just have to get the mechanisms in place, right? Now, a couple spots that you probably didn't hear, and you won't ever hear from this organization, at least as long as I'm in charge. One of them is fucking school board. That's a cultural nightmare, and we don't have a lane there, right? There's nothing there that can affect us, right? I actually last cycle had a person running for school board, and they asked why we don't get involved in school board, and that was my answer. I said, well, it really doesn't affect us any, right? We're firefighters, we stay in our lane. That's kind of our thing, right? Firefighter stuff. To where she tried to argue, well, your members' kids go to schools. That's important. I said, you're absolutely right, it is. But that not important to this organization, right? And that's just how it works, right? And I'm not getting into that. That's a fucking quagmire. There's a guy up in Manatee County where I live, Chad Choate. Chad Choate and I are fucking good friends. Coached football for a long time. He's a school board member up there. Chad will always have my personal vote. Called me and said, hey, man, I like your guys' endorsement. I said, Chad, you're not getting it. He's like, why not? I said, because we don't do that, man. School board is not our lane. It's just not our lane, right? So you never hear us do that, and people call us all the time about that because that's like one of the hot button issues right now, and that's another reason I don't really want to get deep into that because that becomes a cultural nightmare, right? The other thing is like City of Sarasota. City of Sarasota a long time ago gave up their fire department to the county. They have no budgetary responsibilities to us. The only time I've ever really gotten involved in the city of Sarasota stuff is maybe a little bit with pension stuff, but they have a group over there, Ernie Cave and a few other old retirees that mostly handle that stuff and call me once in a while or call this organization once in a while to talk about it. But like they have no, that's not our lane either, right? Because they don't have any of the purse strings or anything with us. Because I've had the same question. Well, why don't you get involved in the city? They could in a roundabout way. No, nope. I mean, you can turn yourself into a pretzel to make us touch us, but that's just not going to work, right? So those are kind of a couple of seats in Sarasota you'll never see us endorsing. I mean, we even ventured out in the hospital board a little bit last go ago for Kevin Cooper. Obviously, Missy Cooper is a friend of ours. Kevin's a friend of ours. And the hospital board in Roundabout Way does affect us in how they do their operations and stuff when we're going to the hospital, right? A lot of our members use the SMH system. Our insurance is through the SMH system, right? So, yeah, that's, and again, a known friend. We towed the waters on that one. I'm not really endorsing any of that stuff this time to go around, but for Kevin we did, and honestly, I think that's just a stop for Kevin. I think Kevin's going to do something else one day, but he's that kind of dude.
That was one of those
Yeah,
wise choices you have to make sometimes.
yeah. Sometimes you got to step outside your comfort zone, and we did there. But at the time, there was a group of
Interesting.
interesting individuals that were trying to take over the hospital board, and that was going to have a great effect on our community, in a sense, right? And what we do when we go to work at SMH, and how we do things at SMH, and that's why we kind of stepped out a little bit on that one. Not normal for us to do, but that was back. I mean, Phil Betts was still the president. Him and I had a discussion. We spitballed that one for about a day. Do we really want to do that? And we decided to do so, and I'm glad we did, especially for a guy like Kevin. But yeah, that's all I got, bro.
That was a lot.
It's a lot. It's kind of like so. Politics is It's like we're gonna have 4 or 5 episodes about it. This is like politics part 1, and a little bit about Sarasota County and the races. As we start making endorsements in these seats, we'll announce it on here, and then you, me, and the other two, Greg and Mike, we'll have a couple episodes. Again, we're all on different shifts, so we have to work that through. But we'll have a couple episodes where we all discuss kind of lengthily where we're at on races, where we need help. And you're going to have to get your ass out there and get some of these SC boys out there. That was how this go around.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bradenton guys, those boys show up.
Yeah.
For sure. So I'd like to get our turnout a little bit
Well, I'm going to have
greater
you,
there.
Greg, and hopefully Mike, all, when they do their first Saturday, I want all of us there. Because I want you guys to see how
Yeah.
it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to be in the entire local.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I know you got done saying all the seats and everything, and we're about there. But let's not forget our raffle.
Oh, thank you, G.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So,
Just like the last few years.
yeah, 2 years ago, we started this initiative, and we've actually upped it. So 2 years ago, I got the board to okay 10,000. This year, I got them to okay 15 worth of prizes, right?
Yes.
So for every political event or local event that you come out for, doesn't even have to be political. It just be helping out the local stuff you're doing,
Yeah.
right? Showing up for commission meetings and stuff, right? Anything that you show up for with the local, you need to start giving me a list of the guys that show up.
Put your name in the raffle, baby.
Your name's going to go on a list, right? And I already opened it up because I know it's political season. I started it. It's a spreadsheet. And every time you show up for an event for the local, your name goes right on that spreadsheet. It can go on there numerous times. Some guys were on there 12, 13 times a couple years ago, right? So they got 12 or 13 entries. You get on there. I want to see it filled up with 4,000 or 5,000 names, or 4,000 or 5,000 entries, 1,000 names times 5 maybe. And in December, we raffle off prizes. Last year, we had smokers, right? We had Arctic coolers. We had whiskey baskets. We had somebody reminded me we had a Bass Pro thing where it was like a Fresh and Rod and a Bass Pro gift card, right? We had all these kits, all this stuff. Martini kits, right? Where you get
Kinds of stuff.
Where you get a handle of Tito's and some martini stuff and old-fashioned kits, the smoker kits for old fashions. I mean, all kinds of. We had GoPros. We had meat thermometers because you get those fancy like $180 meat thermometers where you can monitor your roast all day.
Bluetooth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you just dial it up or down, right? All kinds of good prizes. This year made a further commitment to extend that, and we have a drawing in December at our December e-board meeting. What we do is I stole it from the St. Pete guys when they do their bourbon raffle. It's a number randomizer. We pay like $12 for them to do it, and everybody's name goes in there as many times as possible as entries. Right? We confirm it all, hit the button, and boom, it'll shoot out. If we have 100 prizes, it'll shoot, which I think we did. Shoot out 100 names. Some guys won 2 or 3 things. All right. Get involved. That's how much our executive board is committed to trying to get people involved. Right? G used to just do it for fucking free. Right? Back when the Merv
and to be fair, even though I went out, my name did not go in the raffle.
Yeah. Mine doesn't go in the raffle.
Yep.
Our officers.
And I was
none of our
like,
officers go in
man,
the
that's some
raffle.
cool shit. I would have liked to be on game.
None of our officers' names go in raffles. It's just for members, right? I mean, poor G used to go out and stand on the street twirling the signs with Merv Kennel, all for Merv to buy him a beer, kind of shit. Like that was.
Wait, he was supposed to buy me a beer? I thought I was selling chiclets.
So get out, get your name on those lists, and listen. Even if your unit doesn't have, a lot of the fire districts, most of their races are uncontested. Like a lot of fire districts, the commissions, they're uncontested. Okay, so if you work for a fire district or any department for that matter, like Longbow Key, our elections are in March, and they're already done, right? But if you work for Longboat, Jameson, and others, and you come out to a Sarasota County event to help them, right? We're all in this shit together. Your name goes on the list, right? And you get to hang out with the bros and vibe with the bros, right?
Yeah.
Which is never a bad thing.
It's a blast. I mean,
Yeah.
It really is. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. And look, afterwards, you come out, much like in Bradenton, anywhere, come out, show up at 8, work the doors or do whatever we're doing till 12-ish, 12:30. We're going to go get wings and beer, hang out, vibe with the boys, have a good time. You will enjoy your time. You'll be appreciated for doing so. And that's part of why we broke up this political team into 3, so Tyler can work, all the Sarasota County stuff. Not just Sarasota County, Venice, Northport, getting all those guys involved and stuff. Down in Charlotte, already doing it, right? Shout out to a couple members down there. I know one, I'm drawing a name on the other brother, but my boy Fabrizi down there driving. Yeah. Not River, but it was another one. And I'm sorry for that brother for not remembering his name, but Fabrizi I know has been driving Kima Montre around town,
Yeah.
right? Fabrizi's name's in there already twice, right? At least, right? So that's how this works. That's that quick, you know, and just come out. It's probably, you know, if you want to set your DVP and your local up for success, you want us to be successful, this is the most important shit you can do.
Yep. Is that if it's not right at the end, because everything ends with your board.
Yeah.
So that's who's going to make those decisions on your contract and everything else that affects you.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I could be the best fucking negotiator on planet Earth, but unless I have 3 votes on that board, it don't fucking matter.
Yep. Toast Malone.
Yeah, it don't matter. Unless I got 3 people who are pro public safety, pro firefighter, it don't matter. We're getting a lot of stuff done at the state level. People, I mean, we're actually getting noticed now at the state level. People, lobbyists who get paid $250,000 a year aren't getting as much done as we are at the state. We're getting bills passed every year, right? It's really about relationships. Put me in a, you know, as your state rep, put me in a position to be successful, and then I'll do the rest.
Absolutely.
You know.
We'll put in the work.
Yep.
Got to help us out.
All right, brothers.
All right.
Thank you so much. I got to head up to North River. They're having a pinning today, so I promised I'd be up there again. Members call, I respond.
Congrats to those brothers.
Yes, yeah. We got some new members being pinned today, or newer members being pinned today, and some promotions.
Is that Madams? Is he getting pinned?
I don't know. There's 14.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to head up there. So my day, you know, as you guys know, my days start at 9 and usually end at 9.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. All right, brother.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on,
Yeah,
Tyler. We're going to
first
have you
one.
on a bunch more.
Appreciate it.
And when we leave here, you got to sign the fucking flag.
I'm in.
Tyler
I have an eye on
number
that
4.
bad boy.
Yeah, that's what goes down. Brothers and sisters, thank you for listening. Thank you for learning. This is episode 4, and stay tuned. We'll be back next week. Thanks, guys.
Take care, brothers.